at Cuba, a very authentic Vietnamese restaurants in Maryville. As you can see, the restaurant is offering many different dishes, but they're known for their one dish, which is their steak. And that's why lots of people coming here, including me, on Sunday morning, just to try this.
Welcome to OMD TV and podcast show, the place to be to grow and scale your practice. I've been questioning myself, if everyone has the same number of hours in a day, why do some people, seem to get so much more done than others? How do they do more, achieve more, earn more, or have more? If time is the currency of the achievement, then why are some able to cash in their allotment for more chips than others? The answer is they go small. Going small is ignoring that all things that you could do and doing things that you should do. It's recognizing that not all things matter equally and find the things that matter most. It's realizing that extraordinary results are directly determined by how narrow you can make your focus. Going small is a simple approach to extraordinary results, and it works. It works all the time, anywhere and on anything. Why? Because it has only one purpose, which is to ultimately get you to the point. When you go as small as possible, you'll be staring at one thing, and that's the point, right? Just think about all the most successful companies out there in the world. They always have their one product or service that they're most known for, or that makes them the most money. Even though they're offering, many different products or services. For example, for McDonald's, that's their burger. For Google, their one thing is their search engine. For Apple, that's their iPhone. And what about for Starbucks? I think you know the answer, right? You can relate this to your practice and ask, what is the one procedure or service that you want to be known for and that make you the most revenue? The most successful practices out there know this and are always asking, what's our one thing? I was reading this life improvement masterpiece called One Thing, written by Gary Keller, who is an American entrepreneur and best-selling author. He's the founder of Keller Williams, which is the largest real estate company in the world. And Gary didn't get this concept until much later, when it hit a wall, that when he began to connect his results with his approach. In less than a decade, he built a successful company with national and international ambitions. But all of a sudden, things were not working out. He was in turmoil and he felt as if everything was crumbling around him. So he decided to seek help and reach out to a coach. And his discussion with his coach started with a very simple question. Do you know what I need to do to turn things around? I hadn't got a clue. The coach said that there was one thing that Gary needed to do. He had identified 14 positions that needed new faces, and he believed that with the right individuals in those key spots, the company's, Gary's job, and his life would see a radical change for the better. Gary was shocked and let his coach know that he thought it would take a lot more than that. He said, no, Jesus needed 12, but you need 14. It was a transformational moment, and Gary had never considered how so few could change so much. And what became obvious is that as focused as he thought he wasn't focused enough. And finding those 14 people was clearly the most important thing he could do. So based on this meeting, he made a huge decision. He fired himself. He stepped down as CEO and made finding those 14 people his singular focus. This time, the earth really moved. Within 3 years, they began a period of sustained growth that averaged 40% year over year for almost a decade. They grew from a regional player to an international contender. And the most awesome thing happened. Results went through the roof. Extraordinary success showed up. They never looked back. As success began, something else happened along the way. The language of the one thing emerged. The one thing forces you to think big and work things through, create a list, prioritize a list so that a geometric progression can happen, and then hammer away on the first thing and the one thing that starts to dominate one. So be prepared to live a new life, and remember that the secret to extraordinary results is to ask a very big and specific question that leads you to very small and tightly focused answer. If you try to do everything, you could wind up with nothing. If you try to do just one thing, the right one thing, you could wind up with everything that you ever wanted. The one thing is real, and if you put it to work, it will work. So don't delay. Ask yourself a question. What's the one thing that I can do right now to start using the one thing in my life, such that by doing it, everything else will be easier or unnecessary? And make doing the answer your first one thing. For myself, I created a habit of working on my one thing of the day or the week by joining the 5 a.m. club. One of the best decisions that I made over the last few years in terms of getting the most important work done and moving the needle faster was to join the 5 a.m. club. 7 years ago, and I never looked back. This is one of the key attributes for getting our agency to grow by 166% after the first year I joined this club. And I show you why in this video, so check that out. Now, if your one thing is to double your new patient inquiries in the next 6 months, I would suggest that you attend our webinar called 3 Must-Do Strategy to Generate More New Patients and Referrals on Autopilot. This is a webinar that we talk a lot in our previous show, so I should suggest that you spend one of those early first hours of your day attending our webinar. I'll leave the link in the show notes so you can sign up. And thank you so much for tuning in, and I look forward to seeing you in our webinar soon. Bye for now.